From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2238, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, September 23rd, 2020. Amateur radio emergency operators had their hands full on the West Coast, the Gulf Coast, and all the way to Bermuda. Newsline anchor Paul Brown, WD9GCO, has the busy recap.
As wildfires raged in the American West and hurricanes struck further east, hams were mobilized on the Pacific coast and in the nation's Gulf Coast region to report and respond as needed. By Wednesday, September 16th, the voice-over Internet protocol WeatherNet had secured, as did WX4NHC, the amateur station at the National Hurricane Center. According to Lloyd Colson, KC5 FM, scores of weather reports were submitted for Hurricane Sally in the Gulf Coast and Hurricane Paulette, which hit Bermuda. By Thursday, September 17th, Aries had activated in northern Florida, anticipating Sally. Meanwhile, the Federal Emergency Management Agency declared the first two channels on the 5 megahertz band available for interoperability between hams and government agencies for both the weather systems and the West Coast wildfires. Amateur radio is secondary on the 5 megahertz band. The military auxiliary radio system was also prepared to assist with the response on the band as needed.
Check-in opportunities have expanded for the Blind Hams digital net, which has added a network bridge and a whole lot more.
The Blind Hams DMR net had a quiet beginning, but now its voices are everywhere. On that first day, April 7th, 2018, only 3 amateurs checked in. The net was simply an idea that grew out of an online discussion hams were having on a mail server, but it was soon to grow to be even more. It is now known as the Blind Hams Digital Net and has an international reach with an average of 50 check-ins, a group that sometimes climbs to 76. The establishment of the Blind Hams Network Bridge gave more room to grow, and there are now 8 nets on the bridge. The hams also have a presence on Brandmeister Talk Group 31679. Thanks to Patrick, KE4DYI, the connections support DMR, D-Star, Fusion, All-Star, Echolink, Peanut, and Wires X. No radio? No problem. Even without a radio, hams can still be part of the action. Hams who are not on the air can join via the Peanut smartphone app or just listen to the chatter using the Alexa device, or they can stream audio from the bridge using their computers. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jack Parker, W8ISH.
If you're stressing out about doing well in your first QSO party, try this low-stress, beginner-friendly one.
When is the best time for a QSO party? According to the Nashua Area Radio Society, it's when the time of sporadic E is fading away, but the sun itself is starting to crank up the propagation possibilities. So the party is scheduled for September 26th and 27th, and the Radio Society promises something for everyone. That means all modes permitted except for those modes using repeaters, and all bands are permitted to except for the work bands. Activity will be in 2 categories, VHF only for 6 meters on up, and all bands. Organizers are calling this QSO party an easy and low-stress introduction to contesting, which also makes it ideal for newcomers to radio sport. As the Society website says, the goal is to get as many people as possible on the air. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Neil Rapp, WB9VPG.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at arnewsline.org. With Paul Brown, WD9GCO, Jack Parker, W8ISH, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wellbanks at E5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.